A story broke 4 hours ago. Reuters published Saturday, February 21st, 2026. Trump's own advisors are warning him, focus on the economy, not Iran. According to Reuters, confirmed by multiple sources, President Trump has pushed us to brink of war, even as aides urge him focus on voters' economic worries. This is not external critics, not opposition party, not foreign allies. His own aides inside the White House telling him Iran war will destroy the economy. But Trump is not listening. According to one Trump advisor quoted by Axios, the boss is getting fed up. 90% chance we see kinetic action next few weeks. 90%. That is insider assessment. Someone in the room. Someone who sees Trump polling advisors. Someone who knows authorization is coming, despite economic warnings. In 30 seconds, I will show you the $300 billion calculation and why Trump's own economic team cannot stop him. Here is what Reuters reported exactly. Quote, Trump has ordered huge buildup of forces and preparations for potential multi-week air attack on Iran, but he has not laid out in detail to American public why he might be leading US into its most aggressive action against Islamic Republic since 1979 revolution. Trump's fixation on Iran has emerged as starkest example of how foreign policy has topped his agenda in first 13 months of second term overshadowing domestic issues. Overshadowing domestic issues like cost of living, like inflation, like gas prices, the issues Trump won re-election on, the issues voters care about most. According to CNN analysis published Wednesday, this would be thin foundation to launch major war costing billions of dollars, triggering huge military and economic repercussions. Billions of dollars. CNN's estimate, conservative estimate, does not include oil shock, does not include market crash, does not include proxy war costs, just direct military spending. Now let me show you how 300 billion calculation works, because nobody in mainstream media is adding all costs together. Nobody is showing total economic trap. First, component, direct military costs. According to Israeli defense economists analyzing similar Iran operation, 20 to 2 billion for multi-week campaign. Israeli estimates for their operation. American operation is larger, more assets, more sorties, more sustained. Pentagon sources told NPR full forces ready mid-March. That means maximum capability, maximum cost, double Israeli estimate minimum $50 billion direct military, aircraft fuel, munitions, personnel costs, base operations, logistics. That is starting number, not total starting. Second component, oil price spike. Brent crude closed Friday at $89 per barrel, according to multiple trading sources, up from $87 Thursday. War premium already building. If strikes begin and Hormuz experiences any disruption, oil reaches 130 to 150, according to historical precedent from 1973 and 1979 crisis. At $130 per barrel, American economy consumes 20 million barrels daily. That is $2.6 billion per day just for oil at premium pricing. Premium pricing means $40 above current baseline. $40 times 20 million. Daily consumption times 365 days equals $292 billion annually. $292 billion from oil premium alone, not military spending, not stock market losses, not reconstruction, just the oil price increase over 1 year at $50 billion direct military costs. Add $292 billion oil premium equals $342 billion. That is the trap, the $300 billion trap minimum. And that assumes war lasts only 1 year, assumes oil returns to baseline afterward, assumes no prolonged Horm closure. Conservative assumptions. Reality could be far worse. Third, component, stock market crash. According to financial analysts, Dow drops 3,000 points when strikes begin. S&P 500 loses 7%. Nasdaq worse. 7% of total US stock market capitalization. Market cap approximately $50 trillion, 7% equals 3.5 trillion of wealth destroyed overnight. 3.5 trillion, not 300 billion. Trillion wiped from retirement accounts, from pension funds, from 401k plans, from middle-class savings, from voters Trump needs in November midterms. Fourth component, inflation return. Consumer price index running 4% currently. Oil spike to 130 adds 2 to 3 percentage points according to Federal Reserve historical models. CPI reaches 6 to 7%. Inflation, Trump defeated in 2025, returns in 2026. Gas prices exceed $6 per gallon. Heating costs double. Food prices increase 20%. Increased costs hit every household, every voter, every polling place in November. Trump won on promise to reduce inflation. War brings inflation back violently, contradicts core campaign message. Fifth component, global recession trigger. According to economic modeling, sustained oil above 120 triggers global recession. Europe enters recession first, then Asia, then America. Recession means GDP contraction, unemployment rising, business failures increasing, tax revenue declining, federal deficit exploding, all while funding $50 billion war operation, fiscal catastrophe. This is the $300 billion trap. Minimum estimate, direct military plus 1-year oil premium alone. Not counting market crash, not counting recession, not counting reconstruction. Full economic impact exceeds $1 trillion easily, but even $300 billion minimum is catastrophic politically. Voters do not forgive economic crashes in election years. History proves this. Wait. Before showing you which specific advisors are warning Trump, let me reveal what polling data shows about voter priorities. Why advisors are panicking internally. According to public opinion, polls referenced in Reuters reporting, cost of living issues are much higher priority for voters than foreign policy currently. Much higher, not close. Voters want lower gas prices, lower grocery prices, lower heating costs, lower rent. They do not want multi-week air campaigns against countries most cannot locate on map. Trump won re-election on America First platform. Promised to avoid costly foreign conflicts. Promised to focus on domestic prosperity. Iran war contradicts everything he campaigned on. And midterm elections are November 22nd and 6th, 9 months away. A war beginning now means economic pain, peaking exactly during campaign season. Worst possible timing politically. Republicans already expected to suffer in midterms. According to political analysts, historical pattern shows party-controlling White House loses seats. Iran war accelerates that loss dramatically. Iran war plus economic crash plus broken campaign promises equals electoral catastrophe. Trump's advisors know this. That is why Reuters reports them urging focus on economy instead. But Trump is not listening. According to CNN reporting, Trump has privately argued both for and against military action this week, polling advisors and allies constantly. Polling means uncertain, means conflicted, means he knows economic risks, but feels boxed in militarily, deployed massive forces, made public threats, risks looking weak internationally if backs down. Looking weak internationally versus triggering $300 billion economic trap. That is Trump's calculation. His advisors want him to choose looking weak, choose backing down, choose economy. But Trump's instincts favor strength demonstration, favor military action, favor showing Iran he was not bluffing. Instincts that created successful business career and political rise. Same instincts now pushing toward catastrophic economic mistake. Now let me show you which advisors specifically are warning against war. Names, positions, why their warnings matter, and why Trump might ignore them. Anyway, according to CNN and Axios reporting, Jared Kushner is among advisors hopeful they can reach nuclear deal with Iran. Kushner is Trump's son-in-law, led negotiating team in Geneva. Kushner wants deal, spent hours negotiating in Geneva, believes agreement is possible, believes economic costs of war exceed benefits, arguing for more diplomacy, more time, more patience. But Kushner's influence is limited. Trump listens to family, but also listens to Netanyahu. And Netanyahu wants strikes, wants maximum pressure, provided 73 target list explicitly. Netanyahu visited White House last week. According to CNN, argued Iran has never been weaker, and time is right to extract concessions or wipe out missile program completely. Netanyahu's voice versus Kushner's voice, Israeli security concerns versus American economic concerns. Trump respects both, but ultimately must choose. And military pressure is winning currently. Steve Wythoff is other advisor urging deal. Special envoy, real estate mogul with no diplomatic experience. Led Geneva negotiations alongside Kushner, believes progress was made, but progress is not. Agreement. Gaps remain wide, according to US officials. Iran has not submitted written proposal meeting Trump's 4 deliverable requirements. Time is running out. Wythoff can urge, Kushner can argue. But if Iran does not deliver acceptable proposal, their advice becomes irrelevant. Authorization becomes inevitable regardless of economic warnings. Other advisors were not named specifically in reporting, but Reuters' language is clear. Aides urge him to focus on voters' economic worries. Plural aides, multiple people internally, multiple people seeing same data, same polling, same economic projections, same political risks, all reaching same conclusion. War is political suicide in midterm year campaign disaster. But they cannot say it publicly, cannot leak their concerns, cannot undermine president they serve, can only argue privately, hope Trump listens, watch nervously as he polls endlessly. According to 2 Trump advisors quoted by CNN, current moment resembles both Iran's strike decision last year and Maduro captured decision in January. Trump vacillated until shortly before ordering. In both previous cases, Trump went back and forth for weeks, then decided suddenly. Authorization came hours before operation. Advisors learned decision was final when military began moving. That pattern terrifies economic advisors currently. They argue. Trump listens, seems convinced, then polls someone else, hears different advice, changes mind back and forth until sudden final decision. Sudden final decision could come this weekend, according to military sources. Could come next week. Could come after Iran's written proposal is reviewed and rejected. Could come any time. And when it comes, economic advisors will have failed. Warnings will have been insufficient. $300 billion trap will snap shut. Markets will crash. Oil will spike. Recession will trigger. Now, let me show you what Trump actually said Friday. His exact words, because they reveal his thinking and why economic warnings may not be enough. According to multiple news sources, Trump said, Friday, Iran better negotiate fair deal, must make deal. If that does not happen, bad things will happen. Bad things, not ambiguous diplomatic language. Bad things means military strikes, means weeks-long campaign, means exactly what Pentagon leaked to Reuters about weeks-long operations against Iranian state. Trump also said Thursday at Board of Peace meeting, you will find out, in probably 10 days, maybe we will make deal, maybe we take it a step further. 10 days, that is March 1st, deadline, minimum, March 6th deadline, maximum 8 days remaining. Now 7 days tomorrow, counting down toward decision point, toward authorization or extension. Trump's language reveals confidence. Confidence that Iran will either accept deal or face destruction. Binary outcome, no middle ground, no endless negotiations, deal, or bombs 10 days to choose. That confidence worries economic advisors. Confidence means Trump has mentally prepared for authorization, means he has accepted possibility, means warnings about economic costs may not deter him. According to Axios reporting from 3 days ago, one Trump advisor said some people around him warn him against going to war, but I think 90% chance kinetic action next few weeks. 90% despite warnings, despite economic projections, despite electoral risks, despite everything advisors are arguing. 90% because Trump feels boxed in by his own build-up, boxed in by 2 carriers, boxed in by 300 combat aircraft, boxed in by B-2 bombers at Diego Garcia, boxed in by public threats, boxed in by Netanyahu's expectations. All that hardware deployed creates pressure to use it. Military readiness creates operational expectation. Diplomatic deadline creates temporal pressure. Everything converging on authorization. Despite economic disaster, it triggers. Now let me show you what happens to Trump's political base if $300 billion trap closes. Specific voter groups affected. Why midterm catastrophe becomes inevitable. Working class voters who elected Trump. They drive trucks. They buy gas weekly. They see pump prices immediately. $6 gas destroys their budgets, destroys their Trump support. Retirees on fixed incomes. They own stocks. Their 401k plans lose 7% overnight. $3.5 trillion market crash hits them directly. Retirement savings evaporate. Suburban families, they buy groceries. They pay heating bills. They notice inflation immediately. Prices rising 20% month over month. Campaign promise of lower costs broken completely. Small business owners, they face recession. Revenue declines. Customers disappear. Payroll becomes impossible. Business failures multiply. Trump's base turns against him, blames him for economic collapse. These are not Democratic voters Trump already lost. These are Republican voters who elected him twice. Independent voters who gave him chance. Working-class voters who believed America first promise. Iran war betrays that promise. Chooses foreign intervention over domestic prosperity. Chooses Netanyahu's priorities over American voters' priorities. Chooses military adventure over economic security. That betrayal costs Republicans House and Senate in November. Costs Trump his legislative agenda. Costs Republican Party its electoral viability for decade. All for war that achieves uncertain objectives. Uncertain because regime change is mentioned, but not planned. According to reporting, nuclear program destruction is claimed, but fortification makes it difficult. Clear objectives do not exist beyond punishment. Punishment that costs $300 billion minimum, that triggers recession, that destroys Trump's political coalition, that hands Democrats congressional control for what? For Netanyahu's satisfaction. Trump's advisors see this calculation, see electoral catastrophe approaching, see their warnings being ignored, see authorization becoming more likely daily, despite economic disaster it causes, and they cannot stop it, can only argue, can only present data, can only hope Trump's political instincts override his military instincts, can only watch as 10-day deadline counts down. 8 days remaining, 7 days tomorrow, 6 days Monday. Each day passing is another day of internal arguments, another day of polling advisors, another day closer to a decision point. Decision point is March 1st to March 6th. Deadline Trump set himself. If Iran's written proposal is unacceptable, authorization follows. If proposal never arrives, authorization follows. If proposal arrives late, authorization follows. Only scenario preventing authorization is proposal arriving early, meeting 4 deliverable, requirements perfectly, surprising everyone with concessions. Iran has never shown willingness to make diplomatic miracle. Essentially, miracles happen sometimes. Last-minute deals emerge from impossible positions. History shows examples. But betting on miracle is not economic policy, not political strategy, not responsible governance. Responsible governance means listening to advisors, weighing economic costs, considering electoral consequences, choosing backing down over charging forward, choosing weakness over catastrophe, choosing economy over ego. But Trump has never been accused of responsible governance, has never prioritized caution over boldness, has never chosen backing down, has succeeded throughout life by doubling down, by pressing advantage, by refusing to appear weak. Those instincts worked in business, worked in politics, built career and fortune and presidency. Same instincts now driving toward biggest mistake of that career, toward $300 billion trap that destroys everything. The trap is set. Military. Hardware positioned. Diplomatic deadline approaching. Authorization code generated and ready to transmit. Economic catastrophe prepared. Advisors watching helplessly. 8 days until everyone knows. Until Iran submits proposal or does not. Until Trump accepts or rejects. Until authorization transmits or deadline extends. Until the trap closes or opens. If trap closes, $300 billion is minimum cost. Stock market loses $3.5 trillion. Recession triggers. Inflation returns. Gas reaches $6. Midterm catastrophe follows. If trap opens, Trump looks weak internationally. Netanyahu criticizes publicly. Base questions why massive build-up achieved nothing. Different political cost, much smaller economic cost, much more survivable. Advisors want trap to open, want Trump to choose survival over strength demonstration, want him to prioritize voters over Netanyahu, want him to focus on economy like Reuters reports them urging. But urgings are not orders. Advisors cannot decide. Trump decides. And Trump's history suggests he will choose strength, choose strikes, choose authorization, choose trap closure. Despite warnings, despite costs, despite catastrophe, the boss is getting fed up. 90% chance kinetic action. Those words from Trump advisor reveal everything. Reveal decision is coming. Reveal warnings are insufficient. Reveal economic catastrophe is probable. 8 days remaining. $300 billion trap awaits. Trump's advisors urging focus on economy. Trump fixating on Iran. Reuters reporting it. CNN analyzing it. Markets pricing it. Everyone watching. Everyone waiting. Everyone knowing economic disaster is 8 days away. Unless miracle happens. Unless Iran surrenders. Unless Trump listens to his own advisors. Finally, 8 days. The countdown continues. The warnings continue. The trap remains set. An authorization approaches despite every economic reason to avoid it. Political instinct overriding economic reality. Saturday, February 21st, 2286. Reuters broke the story 4 hours ago. Trump's own advisors are warning him, focus on economy, not Iran. $300 billion trap awaits. The question is whether Trump will listen or whether his instincts will trigger the trap. 8 days until answer. 8 days until economy or ego. 8 days until we all find out. But let me show you the specific electoral math that makes Trump's advisors panic. Because midterm catastrophe is not abstract threat. It is mathematical certainty if war proceeds. Republicans currently hold House by thin margin. According to current composition, 222 Republicans versus 213 Democrats, 9-seat majority only. Historical pattern party controlling White House loses average 30 seats in first midterm, average some years worse. 2018, Democrats gained 40 seats, 2010, Republicans gained 63. 30-seat loss from 9-seat majority equals 21-seat Democratic majority after November. House flips, Speaker Huckey Jeff. Trump's legislative agenda dead. Investigations begin. But 30 seats is without economic crisis. With $300 billion trap triggered with oil at $6 with retirement accounts crashed, losses exceed 50 seats easily. 50-seat loss creates massive Democratic House majority, 60 to 80 seat margin. Veto proof on some legislation, impeachment possible. Trump's presidency effectively over with 2 years remaining. Senate is worse. Republicans defending 21 seats in 2026 cycle. Democrats defending only 13. Asymmetric battlefield already. Economic crisis makes it catastrophic. Republicans must hold all 21 to maintain majority. Lose 3 seats and Senate flips. Lose 5 and Democrats have working majority. Lose 7 in filibuster becomes irrelevant. With gas at $6 per gallon in November, Republicans lose 7 seats minimum. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Maine, North Carolina all flipped Democratic. Democratic Senate plus Democratic House plus lame duck Trump equals 2 years of investigations, 2 years of blocked appointments, 2 years of legislative paralysis, 2 years of political warfare. That future is what advisors see, what they are desperately trying to prevent. What their warnings are about, not abstract economic concerns, concrete political destruction, 8 days away. Now, let me show you the historical parallel that haunts Trump's economic advisors, because they remember 2003. They remember Iraq. They remember what happened to Republicans who supported it. Iraq War began March 2003. Public initially supported. Rally round the flag effect. President Bush's approval soared to 70%. Republicans seemed invincible politically. But war lasted longer than promised. Costs exceeded projections. No weapons of mass destruction found. Public support collapsed. By 2006 midterms, Iraq War was millstone around Republican necks. 2006 midterms, Republicans lost 30 House seats, lost 6 Senate seats, lost both chambers, lost control of Congress, lost ability to protect Bush, lost everything because of Iraq. And Iraq War did not trigger oil crisis, did not crash stock markets, did not create recession. Iraq War's political costs came purely from mission failure and duration. Iran War will be worse because Iran War includes all of Iraq's problems, plus $300 billion economic trap, plus recession, plus oil crisis, plus market crash, multiplicative catastrophe. Trump's advisors lived through Iraq politically. Many served in Bush administration. Remember electoral disaster firsthand. It's the exact same pattern forming trying desperately to prevent repeat. But Trump dismisses Iraq comparison. According to reporting, Trump does not like any comparison with Iraq War. Sees it as different, sees himself as different, sees outcome as different. That dismissal terrifies advisors because every president thinks their war will be different. Bush thought Iraq would be quick. Obama thought Libya would stabilize. Trump thinks Iran will surrender. History suggests otherwise. History suggests wars cost more than projected, last longer than planned, achieve less than promised, create more problems than they solve. Always without exception. Iran War follows this pattern predictably. Direct military costs double initial estimates. Oil crisis lasts years, not months.